So if you have just joined us, I am Simone, FEIPLAR FEIPU, the International Trade Show and Conference on Composite Advanced Materials, Thermoplastic Materials, Nanomaterials like graphene, hybrid materials, and elastomers. 13th edition happening from the 25th to 27th of August at the São Paulo Expo in the city of São Paulo. You're all invited. If you have registered for this webinar, you will get the information of the trade show. This is the Africa webinar, whose purpose is showcasing the solutions that you're also going to see at the trade show. And these solutions are highly compatible to the composite and polyurethane manufacturing industry in the African countries. We just heard from Alan Harper with Antunes. We heard from Valdomiro from More Química. We just heard from Gleice from Amino. And now we'll have the Wanhua presentation, and then Braga Consultoria, Fibermac, and then I'll close with the trade show information. So he's come here to the studio to drink some coffee. Bruno Borges, business manager with Wanhua. So the topic of his presentation is From Polymer to Products, Business Opportunities in Polymeric Applications in Africa. So welcome, Bruno. Is this your first time in person? Yes, first time. So Bruno has a great deal of experience. He has lots of knowledge on the polyurethane raw material market stands in the world. See, he works for Wanhua, so they're quite extensive in terms of their operations. So enjoy. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Simone. It's very nice to be here with you, speaking to this audience, having precisely the opportunity to talk about markets that not necessarily do we discuss every day. That's the case of Africa, for example. Wanhua is a global company. We are a Chinese company, and we operate in all of the continents in this planet. We have operations in Africa as well as in Latin America, and we have operations in other regions of the world, all of them actually. So initially, let me make an introduction on our company. Well, Wanhua is the 15th largest chemical industry in the world. We have more than 30,000 employees around the world. In Brazil, we have our office. We have 2 distribution centers. And recently, we established an office in the city of Bogota. So the idea is supplying chemical products and solutions to the entire world. So thinking about our commitment in terms of health, safety, and environment. In this case, we have stringent and advanced targets in relation to the future of this planet. For example, 0 accidents, 0 emissions. And our aim is to zero the carbon and GHG emissions by 2048. So we are a pioneering company in the chemical industry in terms of sustainability and low carbon approaches. Very well. There are 5 major business units in Wanhua. I work with polyurethanes, and within this division, I may tell you for sure that we are the largest producers of isocyanates, MDI, and TDIs, and also one of the major producers of polyols. Wanhua industry is not limited actually to MDI, TDI, and polyols. I came here to debunk some of the myths, some things that we hear from the market, because we go beyond the raw materials. We offer a value proposition that includes technology that we offer to the market. We have to take into account the other areas as well. We are not experts on that, but I may assure you that we are leaders in petrochemicals today and in fine chemistry as well. In the petrochemical area, we do provide industry solutions. I'm not going to drill down and speak about all of the solutions that we offer. If you are familiar with Wanhua, you might be familiar with the portfolio. If you're not familiar, you may visit the website, and please, you can see there all of the available solutions for Brazil, for Latin America, and for the world about fine chemistry. That's a very important point, and I need to highlight the aliphatic isocyanates. We are global leaders in the production of this item, and we are a key player in Brazil as well. Looking into the future, well, Wanhua works with the long-term forecast. We look down the road, 20, 30 years down the road. So we also take into account how the chemical industry will behave in transitions, be it, energy transition or any other transition process. We want to be compatible with the natural resources. And I may definitely affirm here that we pay attention to all of that, especially thinking about an emerging group of materials. In China, today we are leaders in the provision of raw materials for the production of battery cases. That's a simple example, actually. So all of the batteries of the electrical vehicles that are produced in China today, well, most likely all of the batteries will rely on our materials, polymers that are used in such cases. Speaking about the industry of the future, we see 30,000 employees working for Wanhua around the world. So we have the research and development department, and then we have 6,000 people working in R&D. Wanhua is an industry that is truly thinking about the future, especially in our research and development sector. AI, artificial intelligence, that's a hype that we see in the market today, isn't it? Anyhow, we develop our long-term plans, continuous development plans that encompasses all the major factors, be it about the chemical industry or about the global trends. Speaking of polymers, so I took Glacey's just a part of her presentation, and she was talking about the economic perspective, comparing here Africa and Mercosur. Oh well, the best way of explaining this is that since we are not that familiar about Africa, there might be this perception that Africa is a large continent, quite similar to ours, by the way, with few opportunities. We may have this kind of perception, but in order to be able to talk to you today, I studied in depth African numbers, and I make this comparison to you. The GDP versus population, for example. Well, population is much greater than that of Mercosur, and the per capita GDP of the entire region is still smaller. But when we check country by country and case by case, we see how heterogeneous this can be. Well, the countries are different. It's hard to say heterogeneous, right? Anyhow, the countries, they vary, they differ among themselves. And from all of these countries, we can actually see that there are economic differences, but there are many business opportunities at the same time. Looking into the highlights that I found here, when we address the possibilities for such market, well, the share in the export of vehicles, parts, and other parts to Africa, well, our share is very high. So I'm bringing this data specifically because when we look to a vehicle, we take into account the internal finish and we find polymers. So we have the seats, the dashboard, the gear, We have the sound mufflers, noise mufflers. Well, we have a well-established market in Brazil for such items. We are the fourth largest automotive industry in the world. And figures, they just reinforce this idea. There's a wide array of business possibilities in Africa that Brazil should explore in Africa, thinking about polymers. Of course, I can, deeply speak about polyurethane because that's my area of expertise. But anyhow, it's not about polyurethane, I'm sure. The other types of polymers, PP, PE, and PVC, the polycarbonates as well. These polymers, they also represent a great potential for developing business in Africa. Well, time is short today. Yeah, we are very grateful to be here speaking to you. But there's not enough time to detail all of the solutions that we can offer. What I may say is that with the products that we have in our portfolio, we can deliver the appropriate solutions to the needs of your company so that you may compete overseas, so that you can compete in other markets, in African markets, for example. So I can no longer see my presentation. I think there was another version. That's okay. I can keep up with the slides here.
So, in addition to automotive industry, I want to address civil construction. There is a driver for civil construction in Africa that is growing very fast. There is a process of people leaving the field and moving to the cities, and this demand for civil construction, if you consider the main economies in Africa, there is a huge participation in the GDP and a growth that is above the GDP. So demand for infrastructure currently are around $150 billion a year. And Brazil have great know-how and expertise in that. When we think on polymers and technology, what would we deliver to our customers, to our market? The idea is almost a nudge. Will we fight within our domestic markets, or will we be able to have a share of the market in other regions? So this food for thought in this segments is what I want you to think about. Later on, I will talk about our polymers. Oh, now I have the image. Okay, so, and what are the lowlights? So I just presented the highlights, but what are the lowlights in our commerce with Africa? Brazil currently exports just commodities. Well, let me rephrase it. The major volume of exports in Brazil is commodities. Nothing against it, but what makes Brazil a country of a gigantic size is exactly our agriculture. But if we just sell commodities, I believe, well, we can do much more than that. There is much more technical expertise in Brazil and in Latin American countries to export a little bit of our knowledge as well. Export what really adds value to the market, be it in the automotive industry, in civil construction industry, mining, and so on and so forth. just to mention some examples. When we consider Africa today, and this is something I was thinking a lot last few weeks, and war affects Egypt, that is much closer to the conflict, will be directly impacted. And the other countries suffer indirectly. Energy shortage, logistics, inflation. The whole world actually will suffer this year with that.
Quando a gente fala, principalmente no segmento de poliuretanos,
in the segment of polyurethanes, I will quote Gleice, that was in the previous presentation, Amino, our partners, and I will tell you that Brazil has excellent solutions in terms of flexible foams, viscoelastic or non-viscoelastic, hypersoft or not. We have different types of products and technologies that Brazil can deliver with competitiveness. For polyurethane, we have other types of products with a great level of competitiveness. Here I mention floors that can be rebound, MDI-based rebound materials, synthetic leather that is also a polymer. And when we consider the shoe or apparel industry, Brazil is also an important player. When I say I don't want to provide just the solution, I want you to think about it. What are the major markets in Brazil, and what are the products available within Brazilian technology and Latin American technology that we may export to Africa? When we think on the process of moving from the fields to the cities and civil construction receives a push, what are the companies that offer refrigerators or any type of thermal comfort? Is wood agglomerates or structural or not that may be used for that? When we consider all the segments, they are major segments in Brazil of a great level of representativeness, and I'm sure that if you or your company wants to know more, wants to have a know-how, wants to respond to the pains in your customers in Africa, get in touch with us, because everything regarding polyurethanes, as I said, we are #1 in the world. Our idea is not just talking about raw materials, but raise a discussion and talk about solutions. In the petrochemical industry, we have other segments and polymers that are very well represented by Brazil. For instance, polyvinyl chloride, PVC, that is used in construction, but not only the PVC. If we consider polymers or petrochemicals that we have in Brazil, wouldn't we have a solution that may fit to a demand and need in Africa? So within this industry, we have people specialized in this type of solution delivering to the market conditions that are fit for that. As the fifth greatest chemical industry in the world, I may say for sure that if you have a pain, if you use any of these products I mentioned, we will have a solution for you. When we get into fine chemistry, ADI or aliphatic isocyanates, we are considering a solution especially for paints and coats, where we are leaders worldwide and in Latin America. And the solutions we deliver for the paint market may also be exported. Well, as I said, today I wouldn't like to get into specific market issues. It is just a brief overview of our products and solutions available in Brazil and in the world, and you can come and see personally during our talks in FEIPUR in August. I'm sorry, I forgot to put a slide about it, but we will be there presenting during FEIPUR solutions in the area of furniture industry, shoe industry, and many other industries and I would like to invite you to understand better and learn together with chemists responsible for chemical development. So, and when we think of Africa, we have to demystify and surf this wave together. So, this is my idea, and I hope it was fruitful. This is my direct contact, and you send me questions, and I resend it, I forward to those responsible. Thank you once again, Simone. Bruno, excellent talk, complete, with a lot of information, and the importance of Wanhua has in the market in this kind of products. Wanhua has several talks during FEIPUR. Soon we will send you all the talks, and you will have a lot of novelties there. Thank you very much, Simone.